This week on Instant Experts, what do you call a room full of rapists? Turns out, the Oval Office. Tesla forced to recall its Cybertruck, which at least saved the arsonists some time.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
And in sport, it's a case of instant premiers, as our beloved West Tigers go from wooden spooners to premiership certainties.
We cannot lose it from here. There's no way. No way.
Welcome back to Instant Experts, all the latest news explained by idiots, here to keep you sane in a crazy world. I'm Henry Lee, and as always, I'm here with my dear friend, The Honk. Honky, welcome.
Henry, pleasure to be back with you. And again, I feel like I say this every week, but what a week. I mean, this is a show about crooks, fuckwits and morons, and we are busier than what? Like a coke dealer in the White House.
Yes, it's very hard to keep up with the rat fuckery. What was your highlight this week, Honky?
Look, so many. I'm not even sure it was my highlight, but can we just start with the madness of genuine world champion crook, fuckwit and moron Conor McGregor visiting the White House? So
Conor McGregor, the former mixed martial arts champion, the UFC violence for a living guy, found liable in a civil trial for rape, has been arrested for robbery, and for St. Patrick's Day, Donald Trump thought it was a good idea to have him as the representative of Ireland in the White House.
It's just, where do you even start?
It's a miracle that he and Trump didn't rape each other.
Yeah, I mean, as you said to me before, where were the Tate brothers when you... the Tate brothers, I assume that's next week, right? Is that next week?
And Conor McGregor in the same week has been on a big rant complaining that Ireland is full of immigrants, i.e. people that aren't white. Ireland's a member of the EU. It's got open borders within the context of the EU. But Ireland's population in 2025 is still lower than it was in 1841 before the potato famine.
Jesus Christ. And it's fucking economic. He whinges about the economy. I mean, the economy's going gangbusters.
Ireland is booming. I was actually there last year. It's booming. It's in the world's top 5 countries for GDP per capita. The other 4 being tax havens, Monaco, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, and our good friends at Bermuda.
Yeah, and that's the only reason, of course, that they're better than Ireland is because they're tax havens.
Correct.
Right?
So the GDP per capita is 25% higher than the United States, and Conor McGregor is complaining that the place is full of immigrants.
Yeah.
Maybe the immigrants should be worried that the place is full of rapists.
Yeah.
Like Conor McGregor.
Indeed. And he's particularly scared, it seems, of Lithuanians, Hispanics and people from Dagestan.
Dagestan?
Yeah, but they're not immigrants. They're just the guys who punched him in the face repeatedly and knocked him out.
Well, we salute them.
Yeah.
He's actually announced he's going to run for Irish president, which is a figurehead role, and not PM, but let's hope that he loses convincingly.
Yeah, I mean, surely no one...
Like he did to the Dagestani guy.
Like to the Dagestan, but also surely no country would be dumb enough to elect a rapist. Surely.
Only in America.
Only in America.
Big hello to Instant Experts all over the world. We had listeners last week from all over Australia, of course. The UK again, Fulham, Lambeth, both in London, Bourne End, a little bit further west, a few miles northwest of Windsor Castle.
Could it have been one of the Royals out for a walk?
That's you, Charlie. Good to have you on board. Somma Lombardo in northern Italy. So someone's having a good holiday.
Oh, well, possibly just a very good life. Very good life there.
Canada. We're big in Canada now for obvious reasons.
Yes.
Pickering, Ontario, just east of Toronto, on the shore of Lake Ontario.
Hopefully that never becomes part of Buffalo, New York. Yeah.
No. In the US, Manasquan, New Jersey, on the Jersey Shore, just a little south of Asbury Park, home of the boss, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Could it have been, please God, let it have been a Jersey girl.
Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside of DC. I'm glad you're still allowed to listen to Instant Experts in Washington, DC.
Well, just out. That's why you said just outside, because if you're ice, they don't let you in now to listen to Instant Experts.
Just watch out for the ice guys. Pahrump in Nevada, just west of Vegas.
Yes.
And Menlo Park in California, just up the road from Stanford. Yeah. In more exotic climes, Honiara in the Solomon Islands.
That's got to be. Is that our first Solomon Islands?
It is.
Tune in. Hello.
Frankfurt am Main in Germany.
Yes.
Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria.
Yes.
And Phnom Penh in Cambodia. So thanks to everybody for your support.
And we actually, some people, we've got to give some shout-outs to particular people who got in touch with us. The Shizzler, someone named the Shizzler, big fan of the show in Brooklyn. And Australia's own, forget Judge Judy, Judge Sophie. Big fan of the show, Your Honour.
Good to have you on board, Your Honour. Yes, indeed.
Yes. We've got emails from Tony and Chrissy, among others, and they we mentioned this. If you want to send us a text on the show, you'll see it in our show notes. You can do that. And you can email us at g'day, G-D-A-Y, all one word, at instantexperts.com.au. Get in touch. Tell us what you think of the show. G'day at instantexperts.com.au, just like Tony and Chrissy did. Thank you very much, and thanks for listening.
All right. We also like to start our show with our apologies for our errors of last week.
I don't know. We never make a mistake. What are you talking about?
Last week was a fun one. We did a whole bit about WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment co-founder Linda McMahon taking over the Department of Education.
Yeah. For now.
For real. So we made a joke that Spanish in American schools would be taught by the former wrestler Tito Santana.
Yeah, oopsie.
And it turns out that Tito Santana actually was a Spanish teacher
for
many years.
It was not one of our great moments.
He taught Spanish at Eisenhower Middle School in Roxbury, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he only retired as a teacher in 2023 at the age of 70.
What's sorry in Spanish, is it?
Lo siento.
So we better say, and one, congratulations.
Lo siento, Tito Santana.
Yeah, lo siento, Tito Santana. And but look, we did. This was in the context, as you said, about Linda McMahon being the Secretary of Education in the Trump administration, which wants to close the Department of Education.
Well, the breaking news is that Trump has.
He has, in fact,
decreed
he's written the executive order.
Yeah.
In fact, just to be clear, what actually has to happen now is that Congress has the authority to decide if they're going to approve this or not. And so there's, all that stands between Trump and this happening is 500 members of two different houses of the US government, Congress. So presumably it's a done deal because they're all just going to bend over in the usual way, right?
500 members of Congress and one backbone between them.
Yeah, possibly one.
Now, that means education is exclusively the preserve of the states who've largely done a terrible job.
Yeah, and the early signs are very promising. Some great policies. Oklahoma have already come out with an idea. They proposed new education standards when they take over education. This is a true story, not making this up.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing we would make up, but in fact we can't because it's true. Their proposal is that children at Oklahoma schools be taught as a fact that the 2020 election was fraudulent.
Oh, dearie me. Isn't it funny that the 2020 election was fraudulent because Trump lost?
Yeah.
And the 2024 election was totally legit?
Yeah.
Because Trump won.
Yeah. What point are you trying to make?
Why is that?
What are you trying to say?
The one I like that is Texas. Is Texas and Louisiana requiring the 10 Commandments to be displayed in schools.
Yeah. This is an oldie. They've been trying this one for years. As you said, total
disregard for separation of church and state.
But there is, in fairness, we're being a bit unfair because they've finally put up a vaguely plausible reason. You know, in Australia, like when we were at school, like there's the Premier's reading challenge, the Prime Minister's. He's reading books. Yeah. How many books can you read?
Yeah,
you get it ticked off.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing. They're saying, like, the president has broken this many 10 of the commandments. How many can you break? And they're very proud. They've got all the different cardboard, displays. Like, what's he done? Thou shalt not steal.
Think of 5 off the top of my head, I reckon.
Thou shalt not steal.
Yeah.
He's taken bribes.
Yep.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
He's a serial adulterer.
Yeah. Thou shalt not bear false witness.
He lies his ass off.
Yeah. It was a corker during the joint session thing in Congress when he said that he announced that because he's come back, car manufacturing has returned to America, and he said that there was a massive Honda factory opening up in Indiana. And Honda is a pro-Trump organisation, but they had to come out and politely say, well, number one, we're a Japanese car. Number two, actually, we're not doing it in response to you. We've had a car plant there already. It's been there for 8 years. So it's complete horseshit.
Yeah.
What else? There's also, thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
Now, is this a reach? Or I think it's pretty. He's arguably a murderer.
He stitched up the Ukrainians a couple of weeks ago, and he's, COVID, 1.2 million Americans
1.2 million Americans because he didn't handle it well.
Didn't believe in masks or
testing or anything. Yeah,
that's
or doing anything. And also, what about thou shalt not cover thy neighbour's wife?
Oh well, again.
He doesn't just covet them; he grabs them by the pussy. That's not good. That's, as you said, that's 5. I count 5. Well done, good counting.
5 out of 10, exactly. Well, somebody had a good thought, a good line that I saw during the week. If you want religion in schools, I want the IRS in churches.
Very well put.
Now, speaking of Trump, he's been rolled over by his buddy Putin again this week. As we know, we did a special on it a couple of weeks ago. Trump and BJ Vance ganged up on Zelensky and claimed he didn't want peace after being invaded, starting a war by being invaded.
Yeah.
So Ukraine has agreed to a ceasefire.
Yeah, pretty clever. This was smart.
And Putin, of course, rejected it immediately.
Yeah.
Then he put all sorts of conditions on it.
Yeah.
For example, not attacking energy infrastructure.
Yeah.
And then he celebrated that ceasefire by immediately bombing energy infrastructure in Ukraine.
Yeah. I thought Putin and Trump were friends.
Friends with zero benefits.
Yeah, I think that's right. Trump and Putin, of course, he may be fooling Trump, but it sounds like just about nobody else in the world, specifically Europe, is as stupid as Trump.
They've been massive protests
all
at
over Europe,
grassroots level all over Europe. So
talking about like the Hungarian Prime Minister, I'm sorry, the President of the Prime Minister, Viktor Orban. What is he? The Prime Minister, the President?
Either or. Anyway,
he's running for re-election, right?
He's running
way
for
behind.
re-election, and the guy who's running against him said to him on TV in Russian,
"Yeah,
it's over, comrade."
Beautiful. And that fuckwit in Serbia, what's his name? Milos Vukovic.
Vukovic is gone.
He's gone. Yeah,
and so it's got a little 1989.
It sure does.
Feel,
yeah.
When 2 million people from Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, the Baltic states.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, they formed a human chain, 600 kilometres long, just to say to the world, we want nothing to do with the Soviet Union.
And how's it gone for them since they left Russia?
Well, Russia itself has the GDP of Italy with nearly 3 times the population. Meanwhile, and the GDP per capita is about half that of Latvia, Lithuania, and
they're doing all right.
Yeah, so in 35 years they've doubled their GDP per capita versus Russia.
Pretty clear message here for Putin, which only Trump doesn't seem to be getting, or even Trump. Who the fuck knows? Even Trump may start to get it, which is that they're so fucking great. Nobody wants a fucking thing to do with them.
Correct, like a door-to-door salesman who breaks into your house and tries to hold you hostage.
Yeah,
but he's had a big week, Trumpy. He's not only mucking up the peace process in Russia,
which he said, by the way, which he said he was going to take. He was going to solve it in 24 hours.
24 hours, asterisk, footnote, trademark.
Yeah, and when they've asked him about that since, when he's been fucking it up, he said, "I was just being sarcastic."
What a
muppet! I'm not sure he knows what that word meant. I think he thinks that's another way of saying I was lying. But I don't.
But he's also been tearing up the rule of law in the US. Honky, now you're a former lawyer. What can you tell us?
What about this thing where he's deported a whole lot of guys who are alleged Venezuelan gang members? Now, it turns out many of them, in fact, it's quite possibly all of them, are not Venezuelan gang members.
The evidence was so overwhelming, they decided not to bring it to court.
That's right.
Tested.
They didn't give them any opportunity to appear in court, and they deported them, but not to Venezuela, but to El Salvador. And to do it, they invoked the Aliens Act, which, for example, Franklin D. Roosevelt invoked during the Second World War when, very controversially, he interned Japanese Americans when the United States was at war with Japan, right?
Yeah.
The United States is not at war with Venezuela or El Salvador.
I mean, it's law 101. It's basically the Magna Carta, habeas corpus. You have to present somebody in court to have their day in court, literally, don't you?
Pretty extraordinary. I mean, although surprisingly, there was an interesting twist, though. You were talking about Don Jr.
The hero usually rises,
so Donald Trump Jr., we give Donald Trump Jr. a lot of shit on the show, but he's turned out to be a bit of a hero here.
Well, rumours are he wants to be deported to Venezuela. There's a lot of products of great interest to him deep in those jungles.
Yeah, and he's also offered, he said if he can't be deported, he wants to bring the guys back to America, but he's going to want to put them up at his place.
We could just send them back and forth.
On
a regular
sort of run. Well, that'd be good. That would be perfect. And then when they get there, they can have like a cocaine intervention. They could spend days and nights talking about the issue of cocaine, invite some girls over to talk about the issue. It could be good.
So he's dealing with quote unquote illegal immigrants, and he's now dealing with citizens. He's now trying to de-citizenify citizens.
This is a corker. So Trump's challenging the constitutionality of what's known as birthright citizenship. So the idea is if you're born in the United States, he's trying to say if you're an illegal immigrant in the United States and you have a kid in the United States, that kid is not a citizen. And the only problem with that is there's a little provision of the US Constitution which says the exact fucking opposite. It's not like controversial. The 14th Amendment says, I just want to quote this, just read it. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside.
That's pretty clear.
It's pretty clear. And when this, by the way, was put by some reporter, that provision of the Constitution, to that genius, the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. Her response was, yes, well, that may be true, but it's the position of this Trump administration that such children can't be citizens, and that's unconstitutional. So I think what she's saying is the US Constitution itself is unconstitutional.
It's just a woke DEI piece of paper.
All those guys, all those guys were woke DEI. Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton, Washington.
They just total disregard for the rule of law, total disregard for the Constitution, total disregard for the separation of powers. Although in Leavitt's case, there is a separation of powers between her mouth and her brain.
Yeah, that is true. That is the only separation that she understands.
All right, other quick shots. One I like, J.D. Vance.
The vice prostate.
House villain was booed at the Kennedy Center.
Yeah. What was what show was he there for? What was it?
I'd like to think it was a sneak preview of Trump the Musical.
But it wasn't. What do you think? What was it?
It might have been Wicked.
Did he apparently he didn't know anything about it, right?
No, just like the name.
He just liked the name.
That's everything he stands for.
Yeah, and Trump, we talked about Trump before, but Trump's had one more doozy this week, which is the auto pen scandal.
Oh, the auto pen.
So he's asserted that a bunch of Biden's pardons, including the January 6th committee, which went after Trump, those pardons that Biden gave, apparently Trump says are not valid because it turns out they were signed by Biden using an auto pen. And he's saying that may mean that, in fact, they're invalid because Biden didn't sign them and may not have known what he was signing.
So DocuSign might as well file for bankruptcy.
DocuSign should kill itself immediately.
I mean, doesn't he know that every document in corporate life is signed by auto pen these days?
It's a pen, mate. It's a pen.
It's a pen, Donald. But
it's just
everything computer.
As you said about Tesla, it's just everything computer. Although you said to me,
does it explain Trump's tariff policies jumping around? Are there 10 people with the auto pen?
Yeah, like the Doge kids running around.
Have got the auto pen, and one of them's a 25% tariff guy. Yeah. One of them's a 50% tariff guy. Yeah. One of them's a free trader.
Yeah, and then so that's why sometimes the tariffs, sometimes they're paused, sometimes they're unpaused. They apply to cars, they don't apply to cars.
Who are we invading today?
Yeah.
Is it Panama, Greenland, Canada?
He was going into Gaza, remember? This was the last straw. Remember that from the last straw? Daylight savings policy.
Yeah.
This is like it at my house. At my house, we've got this TV up in the back of the garden, this little room past the garden, and it keeps turning on and off by itself, and I turn it off with the remote, and then it keeps turning back on. And this is the same thing, right? It's because someone else has got the same remote for this piece of shit TV. This is the auto pen problem.
That's a very, very good analogy.
Yeah.
But our favourite fuckwit of the week is, of course, another friend of the show, Elon Musk.
Yeah, but he deserved the title again this week, didn't he?
So delicious. His pride and joy, his Cybertruck, the Tesla Cybertruck, has been recalled.
This is that fucking thing that looks like a Back to the Future piece of shit, isn't it?
It looks like something you get in a cornflakes packet.
That's exactly what it looks like.
The National Highway and Transport Safety Authority in the US has recalled 46,000 Cybertrucks because an exterior panel has shown a tendency to detach while driving.
So they're recalling it having the audacity to recall it just because bits are falling off the fucking thing. Is that right?
That's right. They said in their official statement that it uses an adhesive that's been found to be vulnerable to quote-unquote environmental embrittlement, which is a lovely way of saying the glue doesn't work.
But let's just start with the fact that these panels are glued on at all. I thought didn't Trump last week, I believed him when he said Teslas were, quote, everything computer. Well, now they're not? They're not everything computer.
It turns out everything Perkins paste or everything clag.
Everything very old racehorse.
So normally, car doors are screwed on, but these are glued on. And, and so people have been gleefully ripping panels off
their own
trucks America-wide. And this is the 8th recall for the Cybertruck. It's only been on sale for 15 months.
So that's a recall more than once every 8 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Every couple of months it's been recalled. So why you buy one of these things is beyond me.
Yeah. Well.
And in fact, many people have reached that conclusion.
It sells a shithouse, right? Absolute
Terrible.
Shithouse. And amazingly enough, the attempt last week on the White House lawn to sell electric cars that look like robots to hillbillies
instead of their Dodge Rams.
Yeah, Dodge Rams
has not been successful.
No, amazingly enough.
And as we know, the Tesla dealership's being torched all over the world.
Yeah, well, there was one that was torched in Hobart. We didn't talk about this last week. That was torched.
Was there?
Well, that's not clear. That was a political act. That could have just been. That's Hobart. It could have just been Monday, right?
Pretty wild place. One of the key investors in Tesla is calling for Musk to be replaced as CEO.
Yeah, oopsie doopsie. Here we go. Right.
Yeah, the Tesla board and various executives have sold $100 million of stock in recent weeks.
Right.
Which is fairly amusing. Presumably they tried to sell $200 million worth of stock, but the share price is halved.
Share price is halved, yeah.
Bad luck, guys. And then we have the absolute joy of Musk himself sooking like a little kid. This is a guy who's sacked thousands of people while belittling their work.
Yep.
He's cut benefits to millions of Americans.
Yep.
He's eliminated aid to the poorest of the poor in other countries.
Yeah.
And he's complaining that people don't like him.
Yeah, but wasn't this the guy that said that the big fault of the West was empathy was the big fault?
Yeah. Classic case of the rule is good for the goose but not for the gander.
Yeah, totally.
And then the finishing move, and I love this, is his, I can scarcely believe it, but again, it's true. His mother, Elon Musk's mother, has gone on Fox News to defend her son.
Yeah, he sent her out to defend him.
How pathetic.
The guy's 53 years old. He's got his mum going on TV to barrack for him.
Only defence. So just so gutless, it's amazing. But there is an upside.
Yes.
Which is that you, the honk, have been lucky enough to secure an interview
We've been working on this one. Look, I can't take all the credit. You and I have been going back and forth. We have tried for forever to get her on the show, and no one else has managed to get her. We managed to get her. We got her on the show.
Well, you've known Maye Musk for nearly 30 years.
I don't like to brag, I don't like to reveal sources, but we did manage to get her on this very topic. So I think we should go to that, shouldn't we? This was the interview. It was recorded just a short while ago.
All right. Well, here she is for the first time, exclusive to Instant Experts, Maye Musk.
Maye Musk, welcome to Instant Experts.
Well, hi, and thank you, Honk. It's a pleasure. Far away. Far away. It's exactly what I told Elon. When he got the job at Doge. And I have to say the job he is doing is absolutely marvellous.
Well, on that, some people do think he has gone a bit too fast and a bit too far.
Too fast and too far? Don't be ridiculous. What is this, some kind of work show? Is this a work podcast, Honk? If Elon were here, I'd ask him to fire you too.
So, look, a lot of people are not happy with these Doge cuts, though. Elon's cut medical research, oversight of nuclear stockpiles. He cut US aid to Africa.
I don't see what the problem is.
Well, this is funding that was providing vital nutrition, stopping the spread of disease.
Oh, what cack. Blacks in Africa don't need aid for malnutrition or disease. I know plenty of blacks who never got any aid for malnutrition or disease, and they're just fine.
These are friends of yours?
Well, they were. They all died.
What about the criticism that Elon, your son, is copying personally? How do you feel about that?
I can't believe it.
Really?
These no-hopers make fun of my son. I mean, he is practically Thomas Edison. He builds rockets, he builds cars.
So you think it's jealousy?
Oh, for sure. It reminds me of the time at school he got a C for creative writing, when for sure it was a B. Just totally unfair. If he were black, he would have got an A.
I'm sorry, when was this?
In 1988.
Sorry, wasn't it still apartheid, though, in 1988?
This is the problem with you woke globalists. You think whites are second class. We were all Democrats once. But the Democrats got so woke, we had to drift a bit to the right. And for that, they call us Nazis. And we're not.
Well, Tesla itself has copped a bit of flack on this topic. People call it a Nazi car.
Ridiculous.
Well, can I ask, do you personally own a Tesla?
Of course. Great to drive, easy to park.
Did you drive it to our interview today?
Well, not today.
Can I ask why that is?
Well, do you know how hard it is to park a Tesla in a car park these days? Especially when it is on fire. The car, not the car park. Although, set a big enough fire to the car, you can also set the whole car park on fire. My car also needs a charge. Normally, I would park right next to the charging station. Only problem is all the car park charging stations have been removed by Doge.
I see. But I did hear, is this right? I heard you took a Tesla on safari recently.
Yeah, I did.
And it was safe?
Well, bits of it did fall off a lot.
No, I meant, was the Tesla safe from wildlife?
Totally safe. Safe from lions and hippos. It was even safe from impalas.
Right, and was there any wildlife it wasn't safe from?
Well, yes, the wildebeest. The news.
News, really?
Yeah, they came down to the waterhole around 9 o'clock on the first day of safari and they just started attacking the car.
Not the 9 o'clock news?
Exactly. Wildebeest are very, very bad news.
On a happier topic, can I ask, how is it being a grandma to Elon's 14 kids?
I can't believe my luck. I just can't believe it. Elon makes it so easy to, because he names them after their alphabet. There's A and B and C and I and Na. Na is an African name. Actually, I think the correct order was A, B, A, Na, Z. I love the kids. I like to fetch them whenever I can. I fetch them almost every day.
And do they all 14, they all fit in a Tesla?
Well, don't tell Elon, but for the kids we drive a Kia Carnival.
A Kia Carnival? Is that because it's a 14-seater?
No, because Tesla is for Nazis. Pay attention, Honky.
On that topic, can I ask then the hard question? The salute that Elon gave at the Trump inauguration event, was he doing a Nazi salute?
Absolutely not. I can't believe you would even ask me that.
Well, if he wasn't, what was he doing if it wasn't a Nazi salute?
My son is a well-brought-up boy. He was just saying hi to a friend of mine in the crowd.
A friend of yours?
An old German friend, Niels, from Nuremberg. I met him at a rally there. He's a Nazi.
Last question. Immigration has become another hot topic, with ICE in the United States deporting people without a hearing.
As far as I'm concerned, all immigrants should be deported.
I'm sorry, not to be rude, but aren't you an immigrant?
Oh my God, I can't believe you would say that. Elon and I are both American as apple pie.
That has come from Canada.
And Joburg. Don't forget Joburg.
Maye Musk, thanks for your time.
Oh, it's a pleasure. We should do it again.
I'm Jewish.
I can't believe.
Well, there it was. Maye Musk. Can you believe it?
I can't believe. Can you believe? I can't.
I can't believe
I
it.
can't believe.
Either. Now, in Australian news, they say there's a cost of living crisis and kids don't want to work.
What bunch of bullshit.
We say BS.
Yeah. What about this week? This woman called with the lovely name Cheyenne Fox with 2 X's.
Yes.
Definitely a real name.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Tiziana, presumably Tiziana and the Grim Job was taken. She's a landscaper turned OnlyFans star. In fact, her handle, you said to me, she's also the bikini tradie.
Bikini tradie,
Just
yes.
tell us about the bikini tradie.
Well, she's a reasonably well-endowed young lady who gets around in a bikini and works as a tradie. So she's in a bikini in high vis. Most recently known, to my knowledge, to have been complaining that the blokes are allowed to work topless on hot days and she wasn't.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's a TikTok video of that.
Yeah.
Which got a lot.
How'd she go?
Got a lot of hits.
Did
So-
she? Got a lot of hits. Yeah.
Anyway, so what have I missed? What
But
has
she
been
struck
up to?
again. She had a blinder this week. They say, you said, people say there's a cost of living crisis. The kids don't want to work. What did the bikini tradie do? Cheyenne Fox. She paid $2,000 this week to drag an animated billboard through the extremely wealthy Sydney suburb of Mossman, looking for a sugar daddy. It said, quote,
It was on a truck. She wasn't dragging it herself.
but it was on a
It was
truck.
like, it wasn't like Jesus in the cross.
It said, quote, are you old, rich and lonely? That's what it said. And now, she's reported she's had 2,000 calls or contacts from the billboard, presumably all from Mossman, because it was seen by people in Mossman. And she's asking for old, rich and lonely, so presumably it's only from the relevant class of people, right? So Mossman's reacted in outrage, all this complaint, like, what's the world come to, the kids these days, will you peg my butthole? But just but we ran the numbers here. So Mossman's got 6,000 people in the relevant group, right? Who are aged over 65.
Right.
So that means if she had 2,000 contacts, doesn't that mean 1 in 3 of these people has responded to the ad?
And if you assume that half the 6,000 are men and half the 6,000 are women, that's 2,000 responses out of 3,000
So that's
men.
2 in 3. 2 and 3.
Straight at 3 ain't bad, baby.
So the Venn diagram of people complaining and the people who've screenshot the billboard to jerk off to is 100% overlap, right?
So bikini tradie, we salute you.
Superb.
Keep up the good work.
Good luck. Yeah.
All right, in sports news, last week we talked about our beloved Wests Tigers, the poster child for bad football teams worldwide.
Yes.
We've come last 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And we talked up their chances of delivering a record-breaking 4th wooden spoon in a row.
As we call it in Australia, yeah.
And we were worried last week about their loss in round 1. We felt they hadn't lost by enough.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Made some tackles and didn't do enough drugs at halftime and
Yeah.
drank enough booze
Yeah.
the night before. But this week, Honky, we can reveal that it was all a ruse.
Yeah. The whole thing was a brilliant piece of reverse psychology
It was
by
reverse
you.
psychology. We wanted to goad the team into action,
Yeah, of course.
which they obviously did, given the power of instant experts.
Of course.
And they did it.
They-
They won. They had a huge win over the Parramatta Eels, 32-6.
You bet on them, didn't you?
I bet on them. I won exactly $10.40.
Cool.
So, which
Great.
I've now put on them to win the premiership.
Superb.
And-
So we were pretending, just to be clear, what the strategy was this, and it's Henry's strategy, it was brilliant. We were pretending they were terrible to goad them into being what we knew they could be, which is 100% going to win the premiership, is really what was
They are
going on.
now
right?
certainties to win the competition.
There's no way. They can't lose. There's
It's
no way.
impossible
There's no
to
way.
lose from here. They've won one, lost one. They cannot lose.
It's impossible. It's
so
impossible.
I've booked grand final tickets.
Did you book me one? Did you get me
Chosen pub for Mad Monday.
Yeah.
Bought out for the premiership
one?
ball.
Oh, what are you going to wear? What do you know?
Queued
what
up a
it is yet?
lawyer for the court cases as we trash various venues.
Oh, yeah,
around
very
Sydney.
good.
Celebrating the glorious victory of 2025, 20 years after the glorious victory of 2005.
Yes.
So we're the instant experts, and the Tigers, I'm happy to report, are the instant premiers.
Yeah, they can't lose from here. There's no way, right?
So-
There's no way. I hope you booked me a ticket. Did you book me a ticket?
Of course.
Okay, thank
Of
you. I
course.
appreciate it.
So stay tuned for more glory and heartbreak through the year. Now, to finish off, one final apology, because we made more than one mistake
If you could believe it, we made one more than one.
last week, and this one is to Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
So last week I said that our Nicole was from England.
Yeah.
Strictly speaking, Honk said it,
Well, yeah. In fact, I said it. Yeah. In fact, I actually said it.
but I will take the fall because I should have known better. My sister pointed out that Nicole Kidman...
Sister
Sister Lee pointed out that Nicole Kidman was actually born in Hawaii.
So that's nowhere near England.
No,
Not even close.
And I should know that because my wife, Mrs Lee,
Yes.
was also born in Hawaii.
Yeah.
In the same hospital as President Obama, as it turns out.
Yes.
So it's a huge miss by me, and a big hello to our Honolulu listener from last week.
Yeah. So there's obviously got to be the appropriate punishment, I assume, for you.
Right.
In fact, there's appropriate punishment for you for my Nicole Kidman fuck up.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Which means we obviously have to play, like we played last week. We fucked up the Laverne and Shirley thing, so we had to play the theme song.
Yes.
So this week we got to play a well-known song about Hawaii, surely, to take us out.
What are you thinking? Blue Hawaii?
By Elvis.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that. No.
Happy Hawaii by ABBA.
You know, I was thinking you were going to say that, and it shows what a brilliant guy you are. It's a fascinating jurisdiction. We talked about the Constitution. It's a constitutional question, which is ABBA re-recorded that song for their Arrival album with a different title, Why Did It Have to Be Me?
Great.
So the question is, if they didn't officially release it originally as a Hawaiian song, does it count as a song you can play to take us out of the episode? I say no.
You say no. We're going to Happy Hawaii.
Yeah.
Why did it have
so
to be
what else?
me?
Yeah. What else could it be?
There was that version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow done on ukulele.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you've ever been on hold to a phone company,
done by that
know
big
it.
guy.
The big guy. Yeah. He died tragically.
Did he?
His name was
Israel somebody or other.
Yeah. What's his surname?
I think it was Kamakawiwo'ole.
I think you pronounced that correctly.
Does that mean you're going to play the song?
Absolutely fucking not. There's no way. No. I mean,
right,
look,
come on.
Look. Let me get into this way. This is an interesting story about Hawaii. Of course, it's home a bunch of classic TV series, but none more famous than Magnum P.I.
Of course,
starring Tom Selleck.
Yes.
Now, everybody, he's on a Blue Bloods, show now. But as a younger man, everybody in the world was smoking hot for him. Yeah. Remember how when we were kids, like dads had a den they went to watch sport when no one bothered them.
Yeah.
But the one exception to that in the week was that mums were allowed to use the den on their own to watch Magnum P.I. I had a friend at school and his dad had to install the mum a shower head in the den for when she watched it. I don't know. And we used to ask why. Why has he got a shower? And she would say, no reason. Go watch WWF with your father. Like, it's a great match this week. It's Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Little Beaver, Meatball, Microman, Mini Psychosis, Shockerito, and Hornswoggle in a midget handicap match inside a portable toilet.
Mum really said that.
Yeah, she said that. I'm sure of it. Anyway, every woman on earth was openly masturbating over Tom Selleck, gagging for a night with Tom Selleck.
Steady on, because I got a story about that. My Mrs. Lee's mother.
Yes, Dowager Empress Lee.
She, as a young woman, she was a good-looking woman.
Still a good-looking woman.
Back in the day, and she was in Hawaii and met Tom Selleck when he was filming Magnum in Hawaii, and they went out on a date.
Wow. What happened?
Well, obviously a lady doesn't tell and a gentleman never tells.
But, this was that year.
I don't think he's my grandfather, let's put it that way.
Well,
except my father-in-law, I should say.
But there was that season of Magnum where, remember, Tom missed the whole back half of the season. There was a season when the sidekick, Higgins, the old English guy, had to drive in the sports car with a Hawaiian shirt and had to punch out all the drug dealers. I reckon that was when she went on a date, when Tom was out on a date with the Dowager Empress Lee. Anyway.
I assure you I'm not going to inquire.
No.
So,
well,
anyway.
I might inquire. Anyway, in honour of Nicole, in honour of Henry magnificently pronouncing the name of the artist of the song we're not going to play, to Tom Selleck, to the other Tom, the Dowager Empress, the midget wrestlers of the WWF of the 1980s, and our Hawaii mistake. There is no choice, but we've got to play the theme from Magnum P.I. to take us out, don't we?
Tremendous. I know exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back next week. Thanks for your company. Back next week because stupid never sleeps.
It never sleeps. Thanks for your company. We'll see you next week.